Hello, my name is Dr. Danielle Hadid de Silva, and I am a full-time faculty member in psychology. I teach both undergraduate and graduate courses in psychology, both in general psychology and in addictions. I'm here to talk to you about our general psychology programs, specifically what makes an ideal student and some career paths that are aligned with our general psychology master's program. I'm going to start out by answering the question, who makes an ideal student? Here are some of the qualities of what would be considered an ideal student. Someone who is curious, highly motivated, well organized, disciplined, hardworking, a clear communicator, who possesses a learning mindset, someone who is a critical thinker, who is open to feedback and willing to learn from others. So here's how these qualities are relevant to PG and our graduate psychology programs. We need students who are conscientious because PG courses and learning moves very fast. Students are assigned multiple readings every week. In each unit, they need to complete a discussion board activity that includes posting multiple pair responses. There are also quizzes and assignments, and although these are timed to alternate bi-weekly, there are some weeks when there are back-to-back assignments. There are sometimes also journals that they have to complete. The workload is rigorous and students need to be able to stay on top of course deadlines. So we are looking for students who are highly motivated, well organized, disciplined, and willing to work hard. Because according to the American Psychological Association, these are personality traits that can increase success. The American Psychological Association also cites research related to how intellectual curiosity is a good predictor of academic success. This is important for all graduate students, but particularly for PG students because of our live seminar component. Students need to participate in our weekly seminars in a significant way. And one way to do that is to ask questions. They also will have many course activities to do throughout their academic careers. So they need to be curious enough to research various topics, some that are assigned, but other times they will be invited to feed their own curiosity and research topics of interest to them. LinkedIn has also put forth some qualities of highly effective graduate students. Fun fact, I came across an article which was actually written by a professor who had experience mentoring industrial and organizational psychology students from Purdue. One of the major qualities cited by this professor is having a learning mindset. This relates to being a critical thinker, which is important in graduate school, where students are not only learning about subject material and content, but they are also being challenged to apply that information within their areas of specialization. PG students need to be able to critically analyze the material they are learning, integrate it into their thinking, and understand how it can be used in a professional setting or capacity. Another really important quality that is very relevant to the PG learning system is being a clear communicator. This is related to being open to feedback and learning from others. In every class at PG, students need to participate in the discussion boards as part of their weekly course activities. In addition to their initial posting, they need to engage in the pair response process. This means they need to respond to the posts of their peers and also be ready to receive and respond to questions posed by their fellow students on their own postings. So that ability to give and receive feedback and to learn from peers is critical in our programs. The College of Social and Behavioral Sciences offers these graduate psychology programs, and each of our programs tracks is aligned with various potential career paths. We have the Master of Science in Psychology with a concentration in IO psychology. With this degree, a graduate could work within the IO psychology field, for example, doing consultancy in human resources, to be a recruiter, to be an employee or job placement specialist, personnel coordinator, etc. It is important to note here that someone who graduates with this degree cannot call themselves an IO psychologist. To be a psychologist, you need to have a doctoral degree and a requisite number of hours of experience. Then we have the Master of Science in Psychology with a concentration in forensic psychology. A graduate with this degree could potentially work as a forensic psychology professional, police and court consultant, expert witness, help with jury selection, become a victim's advocate, and be a court-appointed mediator. But again, this degree does not make you a forensic psychologist. We also have a Master of Science in Psychology with a concentration in addictions. Someone with this degree can potentially become an addictions counselor because our MS in Psychology and Addictions meets coursework requirements for the National Certification Commission for Addictions Professionals Master Addictions Counselor or MAC certification examination, for NADAC, which is the Association for Addictions Professionals, and NASAC, which is the National Addiction Studies Accreditation Commission. However, we cannot guarantee state licensure. As such, we encourage students to review their state licensing requirements by checking out our catalog, which explains what programs meet and do not meet specific state licensing requirements. Lastly, we have the Master of Science in General Psychology. Our Master of Science in General Psychology facilitates three main pathways. This program is a stepping stone towards PhD programs in psychology. This is also a great degree for someone who wants to teach in higher education and/or engage in psychological research. It is important to make clear here that this degree does not align with those prospective students who talk about wanting to become a counselor or a therapist, because this degree does not prepare students to do that kind of work. If a prospective student wants to do counseling or provide therapy, then this is not the program for them. Unless, of course, they talk about wanting to become an addictions counselor, because that concentration is aligned with that role. Another important point I want to make is that graduating with this Master of Science in General Psychology does not immediately lead to someone becoming or being able to call themselves a psychologist. To become a psychologist requires a doctoral degree from an accredited program in psychology. After securing this doctoral degree, the person will then need to sit an exam called the EPPP. Someone with these goals will want to find a program that offers programmatic accreditation to practice as a psychologist. With all of that in mind, who would this Master of Science in General Psychology be a good fit for? Prospective students who talk about wanting to do research in psychology would be a good fit for this program. Also, individuals whose goal is to teach at the college level in higher education would be a good fit. Here are some possible careers and job titles that are aligned with this program. For a person seeking a clinical role, with this degree, graduates could become psychiatric technicians or psychiatric aides, which would allow them to work and gain clinical experience. They could also engage in assessment or psychometric testing under the supervision of a licensed psychologist. In terms of non-clinical roles that do not involve any patient contact, with this degree, a graduate could become a research assistant, a data analyst, or do market research. This degree is also a solid option for a student who is charting a path for themselves towards entering a doctoral program or a PsyD program in order to ultimately become a psychologist. However, it is important for prospective students to be aware that having a Master of Science in Psychology does not guarantee that they will be accepted into a doctoral program. Doctoral programs look for different things. For example, experience in research or volunteering, etc., depending on the prospective doctoral program or school they are looking into. Also, most doctoral programs do not take master's level credits from other schools or programs. So the credits from our program will not automatically or may not at all transfer over. This degree could help a prospective student to build up their resume and their knowledge about psychology. In closing, with this degree program, what a student cannot do is just as important as what they can do. Students often base their idea of what they can do with this degree on what they see on television and in popular media. Our role is to help them understand the possibilities and limits of this degree. That being said, this program will definitely feed students' interest in psychology, broaden their understanding of what they can do in the field, and lead them to gainful employment within psychology. Thank you for taking the time to listen.